today, The Winning Strategy of a Leader with Niyi Adesanya. Niyi Adesanya is one of the top speaker in Nigeria, as we all know. He's a fantastic coach. He's a mentor to a lot of people, and he's spoken to a lot of people. I mean, he's coached and trained a lot of people, thousands of people he has spoken to. He's a fantastic speaker, and he's an author as well with a lot of books. You get to know some of the books as we go on. Once again, good evening. We appreciate if you have any questions to ask, kindly use the icon to raise your hand for questions. And you can type in your questions as well. You can do a private one or to everyone, it's okay. Thank you once again for joining us this evening. As I introduce the speaker this evening, please welcome with me, Pastor Niyi Adesanya. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Tolutoro, my very own Tolutoro. Interestingly, I'm beginning to wonder what I can do without Tolutoro. Tolu, thank you so much for being.
Thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you for
I appreciate.
I'm really excited. And for those of you who don't know, Tolutoro also has our own program on Instagram Live. And then she talks to doctors, fertility, and all those things. And then you need to check her out and then follow her on Instagram. So Tolu, if you don't mind, can you help us? Can you help us type your social media handle? I mean your Instagram page, so that people can know it and then follow you. Guys,
okay,
we're
sir.
in for a
Thank you,
wonderful
sir.
time today. It's going to be a great day. And everybody wants to win. Am I right? I want to win. I don't know about you. I want to win. I know whenever I go to the university those days in Nigeria, we always say, all I do is win, win. There's a song we sing, all I do is win, 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 no matter what. I've got money on my mind. So I'm sure everybody really, really wants to win. Now, there's something they're saying about my volume being low. Is that with everybody or some few people? Okay, I can hear people saying that the volume.
It's everybody. It's with everybody.
Okay, let me see what I can do about that. How about now?
I think it's clear enough. I can hear you properly, sir. If you can hear, please thumb up, please.
Okay.
It's clear, but it's low.
It's low.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but you can hear.
Well, Vivian here, I can hear him, but the volume is still very low.
That I can hear too, but the volume is so low.
Yes, Pastor Niyi, your voice is low.
Yes,
can you move closer to your device, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the pickup mic of your device needs some optimization, sir.
Kosibaru, that sounds like Femi.
Adeniba, sir. I'm loyal, sir.
What about now? Is it better?
No. It's still the same thing.
Still the same thing.
Still the same thing, sir.
I think if everyone, we should mute everyone, mute everyone and speak on, sir.
Yes.
Let's hear for.
No, you mute my mic.
Can you hear now? Is it better?
No, it's slapping. No, slapping. No.
Don't slap anybody else. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Behave me. Quiet.
You are muted, sir. We can't hear you. Your microphone is muted.
How about now? Am I good?
Yes, sir.
Do I need to be sure everybody can hear me? Just say yes.
Please
if you
wave
can.
or thumb up if you can hear.
Okay, you know what? With the low, we can fix the low later, but just say yes.
It's okay, sir. Yes, it's okay.
Yes, yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay, let's just move on. Let's just move on.
Yeah, I can hear.
Today, you know,
Your microphone is muted again. It's still muted, sir. Better.
okay, I think I'm better now. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Can you hear you?
Yes.
Okay, good. So,
It's muted again. Muted again, sir.
okay, can you guys hear me now?
Very loud and clear, sir. Please go on.
Can you all hear me now? Please, I
Yes,
need to hear
sir.
you heard me. You can hear me or not?
Yes.
Good.
It's perfect.
Okay, I have to use another device. So let me just switch that on. So you can hear me now. Am I right? Everybody can hear me.
Yes. Loud and clear, sir.
Okay, better now. Good, fantastic. Now, like I said, the reason why we're here is for us to learn more about leadership to improve our leadership qualities. And for the past 2 months, almost 2 months right now, we've been trying to do that to improve people's quality so that they can lead well, and they can be more influential. And by the grace of God, I've been teaching leadership for over 20 years. And I've taught over close to 60,000 people leadership and improving their leadership qualities. And by the grace of God, I was able to do most of this through DLA, Digital Leadership Academy. And aside that, I also have people that have submitted their businesses to me and helping them with leadership coaching and everything. Now, guys, I have a little bit of distraction. I'll get over it with time. Don't worry. And you can see me in 2 places. Am I right? Let me solve this once and for all.
Yes, but it's okay, sir. If you make the voice clearer, it's okay.
Okay, you can see me. You can see me now, but you can hear me well. Am I right?
Yes. We
Okay,
can see
good.
and we can hear.
Okay, awesome. So today we'll be discussing about the winning strategy for leadership, for a leader. Now, more people. I wanted to affect my bottom line. I just want to improve generally, and I want people around me also to improve. But I figured out that if you do not know this strategy, your winning or your victories will only be momentarily. it will never be a continuous thing. And I don't see anybody who wants to win just for the sake of winning. They want to win and continue to win, because there is a difference between a battle and a war. Many people, they win the battles, but they don't win the war. I don't just want to win battles. I also want to win the war. So battles are summations added up to become a war. So every leader is more concerned about the ultimate picture. They are more concerned about what the winning will mean over years. And I think I've told a lot of people this when it comes to selling. When it comes to selling, that I don't do selling. I do more of reorder. So if you're into the reordering business, you know that you have to keep selling and selling and selling and selling every year, every month, or else you'll be out of business. People who have made something tangible in their lives they've always remained on the winning edge. So that's why we're discussing this today. So basically, what this means, let me try and share my slide with you guys, and we can take it off from there. So we're talking about winning strategy, and then going from the words of Jack Welch. Jack Welch said something so very powerful and important. He said, companies are only as strong as the people running them. We need to take note of that. Companies are only as strong as the people running them. And he went on to say again that you build the best team, you win. You build the best team, you win. That sums everything I'm going to say today, is that for you to be a winner and keep winning is not about you as a leader, it's more about your team, it's more about the people that you have developed. And we know that a good leader has followers, and an excellent or a great leader always have leaders. So the strategy for winning for anybody who wants to make anything out of their lives or make anything out of their leadership is to understand what we call leadership development. Last week, we said something about self-leadership, but this week we're talking about leadership development. Now, it is not just about you, it is more about the people. Remember in one of our classes here, we said something about an achiever does not necessarily doesn't necessarily translate to being a leader, but all leaders are achievers. And we said something that leadership can never be defined. Leadership can never be defined outside a team. No leader is a lone ranger. No leader is a lone ranger. Every leader walks through a team. Every leader achieves through people. Every leader gets things done through other people. So if that is the case, so if you want to win, you want to develop the strategy to win, the strategy to win depends largely on your team. Your team determines how far you go. Your team determines what you will keep doing, or you keep winning or not, whether you keep winning or not. So leadership is all about the team. And then a winning strategy is having a formidable team. We've all heard this several times that, a pack or a sheep being led by a lion would defeat a sheep leading a lion, in a war. So anybody who's going into a battle, who's going into the marketplace, who's going into the playing field, because we're all competing for market share, the first thing you want to realize that who are the people that are coming with me? How strong are they? So if they are not strong, it is guaranteed that you will not win in the marketplace, because it's not just about you, it's about us. It's not just about you, it is about us. So if it is about us, it's very, very important for us to bring the people along. Now, you remember what we said about the leadership quadrant? There was a time we talked about that you can never lead a transformation unless you are on the right side. I think right now, the left side, my left side of the quadrant. You can never lead transformation unless you're on the left side of my quadrant. You can never lead a transformation if you are a transactional leader or a charismatic leader. You know, this afternoon we were discussing, or this evening, 1 hour ago, I was discussing with JJ Omojua, and he was saying something about care coming before charisma, and care before coming to charisma. You guys can check my Instagram live, and then you see my conversation with JJ Omojua. Very mind-blowing, powerful session that we had. And then you see that in this quadrant, you see transactional, charismatic. You cannot lead a transformation if you're on that side of the quadrant. Now, if you move to this other side of the quadrants, which is transformational and institutional, then you realize that two particular things actually makes the difference here. The first is system, and the second are the people running the system. So you want to win as a leader, you want to be outstanding as a leader, you want to be great as a leader, you want to leave a lasting legacy. Two things: systems and the people running the system. Because just like Jack Welch said, it's not about you, it's more about the people. If you have a good team, then you can win. If you don't have a good team, then you can win. And greatness for leadership is ability to develop people who are even better than you. You know, there was a time I went on training. I used to train those days, 2006, 2005. Then I got tired of training, and then I started deploying my guys. I call them my boys then, but they are my men now. Probably I'm even their boy right now. I started deploying my boys. And then there was a day I was forced to that training, to go for that training. I reluctantly went to take a class. So at the end of the day, when they scored all of us, you know, they do an evaluation for all the classes and the facilitators. And guess what? All my so-called boys then, they scored A. And guess what they gave me? C. Wow, C. So the coordinator of the school called me. I said, we've never seen you score C. What's happening here? You score C and all your boys are scoring A. You know what I told him? You know, I think it's about time. You know, I already told you that I don't want to actually come and train. My guys are strong enough to train. And then, you know, after that, it dawned on me, and it dawned on the so-called my boys, that we have come of age. That is why when we got a deal to train in 4 different locations, training at the same time, we were able to deal with it. My influence and my capacity to do more expanded because the people who are so-called boys have become men. Now, I'm always proud to tell people I can deploy 20 people to 20 different locations. In this country, Nigeria, I can deploy 20 different locations, and I will not miss anything because I have been able to understand the strategy that a leader needs to win, which is, bottom line, simple as ABC: people development, leadership development. You must spend time with your people. You must spend time in doing a whole lot of things, in bringing them up and in impacting their lives. We were talking about, Jack Welch. But do you know Jack Welch? Many of us, was the former CEO of General Electric, and he was voted the greatest CEO of the 20th century. Greatest CEO of the 20th century. It took General Electric from a nowhere to becoming the #1 company in the whole world during his own time. And then guess what he was doing? One of the secrets of Jack Welch was this. He said he will spend time with the upcoming guys, the freshers, trainees. He will spend more time with them at the training school. He said he makes sure that he's always at the training school. He will never miss it. That is more important to him because he realizes that for you to win, for you to succeed, for you to make anything meaningful in life, people development is absolutely important. And we read the story of Alexander the Great when he went against Darius the Persian. And you know what? The horde was against it, 50 against 1. I mean, people they've already given the victory to Darius that is going to defeat Alexander the Great. But guess what? Alexander took the army of his father that he has been using to win local wars, and then he took them into the international stage. In other words, there will never be an Alexander the Great without the warriors that was with him. And he has to develop them from being local champions to being international in their reputation. And those of us who read the Bible very well, you realize this. You also know the story of David. David at the cave of Adullam. Now we say so many wonderful things about David. We say he has conquered so many kings. David fought so many wars. He was a conqueror. But you need to realize that David couldn't win wars when he was in cave Adullam with his people, because the Bible says that they were discontented people, they were distressed, they were displeasure, they were people who have written themselves off the earth. They've written themselves off of life. But David took these people and then he developed them into warriors. The mighty men. At the end of the day, they said, these are the mighty men of David. Mighty men of David. And that tells you something. For you to record victory and to keep winning, the strategy is people development. People development. So, trying to get back to my slide. People development. Why is leadership development or people development a winning strategy? The first reason why leadership development is a winning strategy is that, number one, it increases your success level. You as an individual, you can do more. When I was, I'm still a consultant, I'm still a facilitator, but just I don't like doing corporate trainings again, except once in a while. I was able to do more because we have developed strong facilitators and strong leaders. I remember as far back as 2005, I was spending every second Sunday of the month. I was spending every second Sunday of the month for almost 3-4 years with some certain individuals. And we were training and equipping them on how to speak publicly. And then guess what? When I was doing this, I didn't think about it 2 years into that I will be needing them to do stuff for me later on. But as time grew, we were developing and we're spending time together. We were interacting, training and everything. Then I started telling them after 2 years that there is coming a time that we would be able to deploy 200 people into any space for any training in Nigeria. We have not gotten there to 200 people, but you know what? We've deployed over 100 people sometimes. What am I saying? We've deployed 200. We've deployed 200 when we were working with the former first lady of Lagos State. We were deploying facilitators into secondary school for our pet time, our NGO then, which is LEN. We're deploying that. How was I able to do that? I know when we're deploying all these people, most of the time I am in the office, I'm not doing anything. I'm there in the office strategizing and everything, but not training. I was able to do more. My success level increased because I developed a bunch of young guys, about 100 of them over time, and then they were able to do more for me. Number two, growth, increase in growth potentials. Increase in growth potentials. Your potential to grow becomes so glaring because you can do more than you're doing because you have developed a lot of people to take away the stress and the burden from you. So your growth potential increases. And not just that, the people you're deploying are also committed to you. They are committed to you, they are loyal to you. Why? Because you have you are investing in them, one, and you're giving them opportunities to shine. You're giving them a platform to realize or to maximize their own potential and their own development. So there is commitment, there is this attachment, there is this connection to you. That's why I always tell people, my mentors, I am eternally connected and grateful to them because they gave me opportunities to be able to showcase myself, to be able to showcase what I can do, and my potential was realized. So because of that, whatever I become right now does not really matter. Because it does matter, but I'm always connected back to them because of what they have done. My commitment to them is 110. Why? Because they helped me through the growth of the process of development. Number three, that's number three. Number four, it reduces your stress level. It reduces your stress level. There's this app on Samsung that checks your stress level. And whenever I check my stress level, it's always at average. I mean, very, very low average. And people are wondering, with all the things that you do, with all the webinars that you do, your stress level needs to be hits the roof. But it's not hitting the roof. Why? Because I have developed powerful guys, powerful ladies that can do a whole lot and probably even do the job better than me. Probably do the job better than me. Not just that, also, it also, when you do it, the reason why leadership development is very, very key, is a winning strategy, is because it also helps you to focus on the critical and important things. The critical and the important things. I have had the privilege of working with a lot of CEOs, business owners, and the first thing I try to do for them is to disengage them, not permanently, but disengage them from operational duties. You can't afford as a CEO to be doing operations. You must be strategic. You must be strategic. And then for you to be strategic, you cannot be bogged down with the activities around. You cannot be bogged down with the activities around you. So you have to develop people to be able to take over those roles. Once they take over those roles, you can free yourself to think, because your job actually, as a CEO or as a leader of a unit, your job actually is not to do the job. Your job is to create the job to be done. I'll repeat that again. It is not to do the job. It is for you to create the job to be done. And not just create the job to be done, because after a while you have to leave to creating the job to be done. You now have to go and look for new playing fields. I tell them, look, I tell the CEOs that you don't need to be sitting down in the office doing stuff. You're supposed to be at one dinner party or one lunch appointment or one golf course, playing golf and doing all that, because that is your job. Your job is to bring in customers. Your job is to bring in the job, not to do the job. Do you understand? So once you understand this and you have been able to develop leaders, you know what happened? You're freed from the day-to-day activities in your office, day-to-day activities in your unit. You can now think about the next thing to do, where next to go, which other territory to take. I can take a whole lot of territory. Number one, people were so surprised how I was able to transit. People know that I'm not very strong. I wasn't very strong when it comes to online, social media engagements and everything, webinars. I mean, my people have forced me to do webinars. I didn't want to do webinars. I was camera shy. Please believe that. I was camera shy. I was not just it at all. I was not just ready for it. But my transition from not being somebody who was given to this and then achieving the result I have achieved in the last 3 months cannot be accomplished by me. It can only be accomplished by the leaders I have around me. And guess what? All of them, almost all of them, let me say all of them because sometimes you can't check their heart, but almost all of them, all of them, I take that again, all of them are 100% committed. And this is how you know somebody who is committed to you. When they do things for you, they are not so concerned about the money to take. They're always concerned about you getting better. That is how you start, that is how you check out commitment most of the time. Not that they will not be paid, but they are not money driven when it comes to you. They are more value driven. They are more concerned about the value exchange, the value I give to you and the value they take from you. So guys, that is some of the reasons, or the reasons why developing leader is a winning strategy. You want to win? And you want a strategy for winning? Leadership development, people development, significance. That is the game. You can be achieving your goals individually right now, but I tell you, you can't be a player forever. At a point in time, you must transit to becoming a coach. Like my mentor would say, when you don't become a coach, you will pay to enter the stadium to watch the other people play. So if you have not developed people, if you have not spent time with people, you can never be the reigning champion forever. After a while, you will retire, you will resign, or you'll be knocked out. When you're knocked out, people that will pick you up are the people that you have spent time with. So what that means is that your winning is not just going to end when you are actively playing. Your winning is going to continue even when you're not active on the field again. So guys, 1, we said increases your success level. 2, it increases your growth potential. 3, it increases the commitment that people will have towards you. 4, reduces your stress level. And 5, helps you to focus on the most important thing, which is strategy, which is the culture, which is creating a new ground, a new playing field. Because if you are bogged down with yesterday's victory, you will never have today's victory. You cannot be bogged down. You cannot be so fixated with yesterday's victory. There is so many more land to conquer. That's why I always tell people, you can read it when you get to those of us who are Christian, chapter 12 and chapter 13. You need to be praying to God that God show me my chapter 13. Because when you read, is it Joshua 12 right now? Yeah, 12 and 13. Am I right? Yeah, 12. And 12, chapter 12, people were rolling the accolades of Joshua. He did this, he did that, he conquered this king, he conquered that king. And then in chapter 13, God appeared to him and said, "You know what, Joshua, there is still many more land to conquer. There is still many more land to conquer." Guys, there is still so much to do. There is still so much territory to take. There is still so much adventure to experience. There is still so much influence to exert on this earth. There is still so much life to change. There is still so much companies to form. There is still so much to do. So you cannot afford to just sit down with your success right now. Now, let's move on. Now, I've been saying a lot about what's it called? Leadership development, why it's very important, why it's the winning strategy. And the next thing you want to figure out is that, okay, what do I need to do to be able to develop this leadership? Because it's not just in talking to people. You have to be intentional. You have to be deliberate. You have to be strategic about the way you go about it. Because developing somebody from being a boy to being a man, from being a girl to being an outstanding woman is not a day's job. It has to be intentional. It must be strategic. and you must be deliberate about every action. You know what? When you dress, you are dressing not because of you, but because you have the leadership development mentality in your heart. So it is not you that the time, no, what, you can't just dress the way you want to dress. You have to dress with the mentality that I'm not just dressing for myself, I'm dressing for the people who are coming behind me. I'm dressing because I have to be deliberate about my leadership development strategy. So, how do you do this? Number one, training. Training, absolutely important. You must learn how to train. If you have to go to school to learn how to talk and train, you must do that, because there can be no leadership development without training. And if you're not training, you're not developing your leaders. And if you're not developing your leader, you have no winning strategy. You have no lasting winning strategy. So it's all about training. So when we talk about training, people just think it's all about the classroom teachings. It is more than the classroom teachings. Classroom teachings are one thing. What we're doing right now, this webinar, is one thing, but it's much more than the classroom teaching. It's on the job practicals. You don't just teach people leadership, you give them opportunity to practice or to exhibit the leadership that you've taught them. That's why you have to drill them. That's why sometimes when they're going through some few pains or serious pain or some mild pain, or they're going through some difficult time, you don't go there to build them from it, because you know that that experience is going to teach them something. It's not just about the classroom teaching, it's also about making them experience, those of us who are organization CEOs, is making them experience the different areas. I mean, the different units. You take them through that, let them experience that, let them learn from the market, let them understand what the customer service is doing, let them understand what the brand is doing. You put them in there and you allow them go through it. You have to behave like the eagle. When the eagle is training the eaglets to fly, it takes the eaglets, destroys, shakes the nest that they're resting, so that it carries them, takes them up high there and let loose. And then you'll be watching, and the eaglet will be trying to fly. He has to go through the experience. Almost when the eaglet is trying to touch the ground, the mother eagle will come and pick again, and then repeat the same process. Guys, you want to develop leaders? Train them in the classroom, we'll talk about that, but at the same time, you have to give them opportunities, a whole lot of opportunity to be able to practice those things. And I think one of our classes, we're talking about the different styles of learning. You know, we said, we're talking about the premium place, premium time, premium people, and then premium style of learning. We said one is auditory, the other one is visual, and the third one is what we call kinesthetics. In other words, people don't learn until they practice, until they begin to utilize what you have taught them in class. So if you're training somebody to be a leader, you have to give the person that experience to be a leader. For those of us who are parents, teach your children to take responsibility. That's why I love it when somebody, a friend of mine told me that our children, she has to buy them dogs because she wanted them to be very responsible. In other words, you're supposed to feed the dog, you're supposed to cater for the dog and make sure the dog is okay. That is your responsibility. What you're trying to teach them around them is to practice it. Once they begin to practice it, then your training is on a good ground and a good footing. Good. Now let's go back to the classroom teaching, because so many times when we look at the classroom teaching, we just think it's all about information. It's not just about information. It is much more than information. You must be also looking at the kind of information that you give. Is it robust? Is it holistic? Does it touch every area? Every time you have a class meeting, every time you have a class training, every time you have a situation where you sit with your guys, whether staff meeting or management meeting or training itself, you must have this at the back of your mind, and you must be able to touch every area that I'm going to mention some few minutes from now. And that's what we call the feed gear developmental matrix. In other words, when we as feed gear goes into a training, we try to touch all these areas almost at the same time. In that singular 2 hours or 1 day or 2 days, we try to touch all these areas. And that is how you can know whether you're doing a good job with the classroom or not. So check this out. These are the things that your classroom must touch. Number one, intellectual. You must be able to increase their intellectual capacity. In other words, you can't have a classroom training that the people that you're training are wondering, why are they here? Why are we hearing this? What is new about this? There's nothing new under the sun, but there must be something fresh about your knowledge. There must be something to remind people about your knowledge. There's something that will hit them. You should not say 100% of the things that you say that nothing is new to them. There must be something that is new to them. In other words, there must be an increase in their intellectual capacity. That we do. That's why we go through our content, we go through our studies, we develop all those things, we bring in all the analogies, all the examples and everything, the data, just to increase people's knowledge, intellectual capacity. And I think one of these webinars, and I'm not as, when I was fella, last Saturday, we were having a program, and then I said something about ROI on knowledge, return on investment. I said 10% is knowledge itself, the knowledge in the classroom is 10%. 40% is applicability of the knowledge. And then 50% is all about the bottom line. And bottom line means result. If you come to class, if it's applicable, but we can't see the results, then you only scored 50%, and then you're average. So everybody must try to do 10% knowledge, which is very important, applicability 40%, and then return on investment, which is the bottom line. The bottom line is 50%. So knowledge is important, but much more than that, you must know that it's not just about the intellectual stimulation of their brains. It must also be psychological. Nobody, when you're doing leadership development, everybody you're training must leave there with a psychology, with a mindset of, I have improved. I am better than when I came here. I am more than what I've always thought about myself. There must be that psychological change. There must be that touching of their mind. You know, when people can take control of their mind, they know that my mind, I'm improving my mind, I am increasing with my psychology, the way I see myself, the way I perceive myself, you have achieved something great in your leadership development. The third one is sociological. In other words, you must teach your people how to connect with people. You must teach your people how to connect with people. They must be social in their dealing. So your classroom will be able to achieve that. That's why in classrooms, we break them into groups. Think about that. You guys brainstorm together, because you will get to talk to yourself. You get to interact with yourself every now and then, because sociological contact is very important. And then the fourth one is the philosophical side of the training. The philosophical side of the training. Guys, what that means is this. Everybody must be taught value. Why are you existing? Why are you here? There must be a change in their orientation about life. You must give them a new interpretation, a new narrative about life. This is the place, the classroom is the place to begin to mold them from being selfish to being selfless. And you can only do that by you giving them a reason to live, a reason to exist, And you must be able to change people's philosophical orientation in the class. Because let me tell you something, if somebody is psychologically okay, intellectually okay, and then he can connect with everybody, but he has a warped up thinking about life, he's always thinking about himself, thinking about how he can take advantage of situation just for himself, the person definitely cannot be a good leader. So the classroom is the place to change people's orientation, change people's philosophy for life. And also the classroom must also include physical exercises. That's why it's the brilliant school, if you have the opportunity, you must create places where people can go play games, gyms and everything. But even if you don't have that in your classroom also, you must be able to create experiences like exercises, like what you do. Most of you have come for our leadership boot camp in Lagos, Nigeria. You will have realized that we infused that a lot into that. That's why we bring Iwo in, and Iwo is what do they call this thing now? Yoga specialist. Is it yoga? Yeah, yoga specialist and everything. And she does more than that. She comes in there to train people on how to be mindful of your body, mindful of the situation around you. And then the sixth one, am I right? Sixth, yeah, is spirituality. Your training must give somebody a sense of divinity. You don't just want people to be leaders and not be conscious of their environment, conscious of the extraterrestrial realm. You don't want that. You want to build them up to the point where they are spiritually sensitive. Because sometimes the things that they will do to change the game for you will not come most times from their intellect. It will come sometimes from their being sensitive to divinity. And it's important for us to know that. It's important for us to embrace that, the spiritual angle. Now, let me begin to tie this up right now. And before I do that, also, you have to put this probably as the seventh one, policy decision. Leadership development must be a policy decision. In other words, if you're a CEO, you must put it as a policy in your organization. You must sit down with consultant, you must sit down with expert, and then formulate how you're going to implement this on a daily or monthly basis. It has to be part of your organizational culture. It has to be part of your philosophy as an individual for life. Everything you do is all about developing other people to becoming outstanding. It's all about developing other people to becoming great. So it must be your policy statement as an organization. It must be part of your philosophy as an individual. You must imbibe it as a culture. Because if it's not a culture, then forget about it. We're not going anywhere. Good. Now, let me quickly say this, then we'll be done today. So what is your job? What do you do apart from all those things? What are the things that you do if you want to develop your leaders? Number one, you need to equip them. Equip them with knowledge. We said that in the class. Equip them with what's it called? Everything that they will need. Do they need a laptop? Do they need something to work to bring out the best in them? You must be able to equip them with everything that they need. Sorry, everything that you think that they need. Because sometimes they may be needing something, but they don't know. It may be a want and not a need, but everything that you know they will need to be able to equip them and to be able to improve them, you must provide it for them. Two, you must be able to confront and correct them. You must look for opportunities that present itself to be able to correct some of your leaders. You must look for such opportunities to correct or to praise them. It is absolutely important. If you have someone that you cannot confront or correct, guy, you're no more the leader. That's the leader now. That's the person leading your organization. You're not the one leading. Everybody that works with you or you're developing you must be able to confront them and correct them when it is needed. Set goals for them. Set goals for them. Set goals for them. I remember then when we were at Daystar, our pastor then used to set goals for us. Apart from the goals to meet as a pastor, he was also setting goals for us. If you buy a land, you get so amount of money. I mean, we're not buying the land for the job, we're buying the land for ourselves. If you buy shares, you get so amount of money. If you travel, if you stretch yourself to get a visa to travel out, we'll support you in your trip by giving you so amount of dollars. Now, he sets those goals, and he also puts something enticing to go with it. So same thing with you as a leader. You want to develop people, set goals for them. 4, have faith in them. Have faith in them. You know, sometimes you're at the meeting and somebody's talking and you know, this person is just talking rubbish. But you have to have faith in them. You have to know how you correct them. Faith is absolutely important. They must see that belief, because you know what? Everybody acts to the belief that you have about them. If you believe that nobody, even if they have intellectual things to contribute, they will never contribute it because they will feel that they are nobody. So when you have faith in them, when you tell them, you don't just have faith, you say, I believe in you. I believe in your instinct. I believe in your creativity. I believe you have the solution to what we're looking for. When you start saying that to them, you know what you're doing? You are helping them and helping yourself for them to bring out the best that they have to offer. People always live up to the belief, the expectation, and the faith that you have for them. Motivate them. Motivate them. I said it earlier on when I was talking about set the goal. Motivate them, which is also about rewarding. Motivate them. Get them to do something. If you do this, this is what you get. And guys, when you promise, you do it. Once you promise, you do it. You don't promise and not fulfill it. You must promise and you do it. So if you do this, this is what you get. Motivate them. And not just in material things. Motivate them with your time. That's what we say, invest time in them. Spend time with them. Show them things. Let them know the things that changed your life. Let them know the things that made you who you are. So once they know the things that made you who you are, they can always learn from that. Invest time in them. You know, the Pareto principle, 20% of the people give you 80% of your results. So if I were you, I would spend 80% of my time with the 20% of the people who give me 80% of my results. Invest time in them. There is nothing as powerful as spending time with the people you have faith in, you believe in. You have to spend time with them. Love them. Love them unconditionally. Love them. Loving them doesn't mean you won't spank them. Loving them doesn't mean you won't discipline them. Loving them doesn't mean you won't reprimand them. But you know, there's a way you can love somebody, and even if you're reprimanding the person knows that, okay, it's out of love. You have to love them. You must love them. You must also reward them. Reward them. Reward them greatly. If they deserve it, reward it. Be an example or a model to them. Model to them. They are watching you. Action speaks louder than words. They're watching you. You must be an example. Whatever you don't want them to do, you don't do it. You don't do it. And again, be growing. Make sure you're growing. Because you know, once they catch up with you, once they catch up with you, they will leave you behind. And you don't want them to leave you behind. You have to be a step ahead as much as you can. So you have to keep growing. You have to keep breaking new ground. You have to keep striving to do things because they are watching you. And finally, you have to be secured. This is serious. Now listen to me, guys. Listen to me very well. You have to be secured. Because those people you are developing after a while will be greater than you. Because that should be your prayers anyway. That should be the goal. You do not train people, you don't develop people with the hope that you will always be greater than them. They will be greater than you. So you must be secured in yourself. You know, there's a guy that has been a blessing to my life. I'm not sure whether he's on this, I'm not sure whether he's here right now on this webinar, but he's been a blessing to my life. One day I was in his office. I mean, it's become so great, so rich. I was in his office, and then he was bringing out his books. And then, do you remember what I said, what you said the other day? You know, 2 years ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago, you said this. I underlined it in this book, and he was showing me all that. I was wondering, when did I say that? But you know what? At that point, when he was telling me all that, I could have become so insecure. And then wondering, if I taught him all that, and he's this great and this big, how come I'm not big? Big greatness is relative to your vision and your dreams. And you must be secured in the things God has shown you, where he said he's taking you to. And you must have this mentality that the people you're developing, after a while, will be greater than you. That should even be your vision. That should be your objective. So you must be secured. Once you see them do great things, you must be secured in it. Now, let me share this story with you. What happened to me? You know, I train people in public speaking. I train people to be able to facilitate courses and everything. I train people to become consultant, to become facilitators, to become coaches. And then I know very well what once they are done, they will have to set up a consulting firm and then compete with me in the marketplace. I can't run away from that. And then some people came to meet me at the time and say, are you training three people? Don't you know they will compete with you? Ah, look at this person is competing with you, doing this. I said, well, what do you expect? When you train somebody to become a painter and the person lives in Lagos, what do you expect him to be? A carpenter? No, he can't be a carpenter. He has to be a painter in the same Lagos. You have to embrace that. You have to be secured in that. So your job now is to take your game to the next level. And then the more you take your game to the next level and they're looking at you as an inspiration, you know what? You will still have them to do a lot of things for you because they still see you ahead of them. Be secured in yourself. People will compete with you. People you train will compete with you. They will compete with the space with you. But you have to just create new spaces for yourself. People you train will be better than you. So you'll have to be secured in yourself. And they need to see that sense of security. That once they come to tell you about millions that they have made or thousands of dollars they have made, you know what? You don't say, you have not sent anything to me. You are a useless boy. You are a useless girl. You have to send me something. That is not the way to develop people. When you start doing that, they run away from you. And I think at this point, I rest my case. That is actually the secret. The strategy for winning is leadership development, is making other people better, making other people better. And I will advise all of us to embrace this. The more you do this, the better you become. The more you do this, the more influential you become. The more you do this, the more games you win. The more you do this, the more money you make. The more you do this, the more impact you have. The more you do this, the more strategic you are perceived to be. The more you do this, the more invincible you become. People cannot touch you. People cannot even comprehend what you have done or what you're doing in their lives. Guys, this is the way to go. Strategy for winning is leadership development. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, sir. I know we have been blessed with this. There was something I saw on Instagram. There was a post I saw, and somebody said, how to be a good leader, and they put a price on it. And they were having a sales. They put a price of 50,000 naira. Then they slash it, and they said, oh, now it's 25,000 naira. I looked at it, I said, how to be a good leader. When we have come on to this platform every Thursday and we are blessed with this, we've busted the myth of mentorship. We've done a lot of things, the strategy and everything. Honestly, everyone on this platform just say thank you to Pastor Nee, because this is outstanding. This is what people fly to go on conference for. Do you understand? If you understand what I mean, you travel from one location to another to go and listen to this. And we get this every now and then. So thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So you can still go and be a good leader. I mean, listen to that, pay 25,000.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Honestly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for what you do always.
Thank you very much. Friends.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So much, sir.
I highly appreciate you, sir.
so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Continue by going straight to the question, or would you like to say anything, sir, before we go to the question and answer?
Something, I saw somebody saying thank you, sir. JJ Amojua. Can you look for him? And then I spotlight him. JJ Amojua must say something. We just finished the seminar. I hope he won't run away. He want me not to do this, but JJ is here. JJ, you got to come out. I didn't promise you that I won't do this. You asked me not to do it, but I didn't promise you. So
Okay, can't find him now.
they are looking for him. He's JJ Amojua. I said thank you. They've seen it. So I would like JJ to just say some things, 5 minutes, and then contribute to this. Let us take what we did in Instagram Live back here, and let us talk a little bit. JJ, help me welcome JJ. Everybody say welcome, JJ.
Welcome, JJ.
Thank you. I was not expecting to be to be on sport. I was just trying to listen. And I just think that it's a privilege, like Tolu was saying, that please don't mind the background. It's for a particular meeting that I'm supposed to attend. It's a privilege that we get to access platforms like this at no cost. And not just for today, we've accessed the likes of PNA for decades. And I think what has happened with such opportunities is that because they often come very, very cheaply, or in very few situations, in most situations, very, very, mostly free, and in certain situations, you pay huge amounts of money. People have now come to a place where they actually do not value it. They don't value it because on account of these meetings being free, people assume that the person speaking is not paying, that there's no cost. Forget about the like payment for the halls and all the speakers and things like that, that there is no cost to becoming enough to be in that place where you start to teach and you start to replicate yourself. So you find people come to these things and they don't pay attention. But as soon as you say it's going to cost 500,000 naira, even those that are not able to attend, somewhere in their head, they feel like, oh my God, they are going to miss a lot. For this thing to cost 500,000 naira, they are definitely missing a lot. So, I mean, personally, going forward, I don't intend to be like PNA. I intend to put money as many times as possible into these things. Not because I like money, but because what I'm studying has showed me that people just do not value what they get for free. So even if you're telling them to come and get it for free, you have to find a way to let them know that somebody has paid for them to be there for free. Because too many times when they hear free, they think it's actually free. The fact that something is free to you does not mean that it has not cost somebody else for you to be there. So ultimately, nothing is ever free. So it's a privilege to be here, and congratulations to everyone who joined this session. I feel like sessions like this are life-defining because if you're able to pick what's been said and you're able to take things down, you're able to come back to them and expand on them. You're literally unstoppable. Thank you.
Thank you, JJ.
Thank you, JJ.
Wow. Thank you so much. Once again, Pastor Nee, we are blessed this evening as usual, and may God keep you for us. I've got lots of questions here anyway, but if there's anyone who would like to ask in person, can you please Identify by using the icon. Raise your hands. While we wait for people to respond to that, someone asked, can we say strategic leadership is different from for every leader? As in, maybe let me say example how I can understand that question. A leader in church, a leader at place of work, are there strategic differences? When it comes to leadership with different kinds of leader, do they have to be strategic in their whatever they do, their plans?
Oh, definitely they are. Everybody has to be strategic. But sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Everybody has to be strategic. That's very important. Very, very important. But what I'm trying to say here, what we're trying to do here is to give you the major strategy for leadership is to develop people. But in your bid to developing people, you will have to come up with a lot of strategy, sit down, brainstorm on how you go about it. And then, you know what, everybody that you lead, everybody that you are developing, you can't do similar treatment with them. You have to do equitable treatment. It has to be based on who they are, because people learn differently, people grow differently, people have different ways of assimilation. So you must be aware of all of that when you're developing people. So what we're trying to say is that the strategy to winning as a leader is leadership development. But in developing leaders, there will be a lot of other innovative strategies, innovative steps and everything. And like I said, it's all about equitable treatment, not similar treatment. So I think that will help. That can help. Are we good? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I think I was muted. Someone asked, how do you manage a superior employer who feels insecure but does everything to put you down technically and mostly verbally?
Well, I think we mentioned that earlier on in all of our meetings. You just need to go to our digital library to, at least you have to just pay, what's it called, 27,000 naira to have access to all our digital library, all the webinars and everything like that. Now, the first thing is this. One of the things I think, what's his name, 24 laws of leadership, is that you do not outshine your leader.
Yes.
And in a bit not to outshine your leader, you have to give the leader some sense of being the boss. Once they are insecure, it's because probably you're doing more than yourself and you're trying to show everybody that you are the star here. Everybody wants to make anything meaningful out of the workplace when they are with very difficult bosses. They must know how to allow them shine. And then we also talked about emotional bank account. I hope so. I've done a little bit of a lot of webinars that I don't even know which one, whether it was here or somewhere else. Emotional bank account. There's a way you can. There's a way. Okay, good. There's a way you can deposit into the account. Emotional, your account in the emotional bank by saying positive things and by carrying them along and making them feel like the champion, making them feel like the winner. And that's how you can buy their favor and then be able to get your strategy and your things done. How many of us remember when we had Dr. Umar Bindul, not on this webinar, one of our webinars, and the former secretary to the state government of Adamawa State. And he told us how he was able to get a lot of things done. He will write a book and he will, policy statement or whatever project they want to do, he will put the name of the governor in there. And he will tell the governor, you just wrote a book. This is what the governor will now take it. And then he was able to implement all those things because he learned that you can't take the shine out of your leader. Especially if you're with insecure guys, you need to just massage their ego as much as you can. If you don't, you may not get.
Thank you, sir. I hope they understand that. Can you please, Infinity HOT 8 lights? You have your hand up. We don't know your name. If you'd like to change your name and show your video, please. Infinity HOT. Can you hear me? I'm trying to answer. Are you there? Can you? Okay, you are muted.
Okay, probably we need to go to the next person.
Okay. Christian Okaro. Oh, Christian Okaro.
My dear Christian, my dearly beloved Christian.
Hello. Thank you, Pastor Lee. Good evening, all. I'm
Thank
very happy to be here. Yeah. It's really a very interesting topic that we just discussed with us this evening. And my question, I have like I would say just two questions. One is when you talk about leadership, and leadership, as you said, is not one way where you have to develop people and all that. But you could see in some organization, there are sometimes you see a good leader, but the culture of the organization does not allow him or her to perform. You could see CEO being fired because he maybe he's very good. He was paid huge amount of money to be hired in that organization, but it turned out that his style of leadership is out of fit with what people are used to in that corporate setting. And the second one is there are some situations, maybe some places, maybe you could see there is a company is going bankrupt or is having a very big challenge, and they are looking for a different characteristics of a leader. Maybe the morale of the people working are demoralized. They are laying people off. So they are looking for a more of transformational leader or a charismatic leader that could bring people up. So how do you, as a leader, be able to be played in any of this field? As a leader, how can you be able to know when you should be more charismatic style of your leadership in this setting, and when to switch to more transformational leadership in order to carry the people along?
Okay, good. Let me say this, Christian. I'll do the second question and then you remind me of the first one later. Look, like when we were teaching the leadership quadrant, because you're a transformational leader does not mean you forget being a charismatic leader. All those things are progressions. You're charismatic because every leader is actually charismatic. And then the difference between a transformational leader and a charismatic leader is that the charismatic leader works all by himself and just make things happen. But the transformational leader works through a system. But that doesn't mean he's not charismatic. But he knows that anything I want to get done has to last. And for things to last, it is not going to be an individual that can make it happen. It is the institution or the system that can make it happen. So the big difference between them is systems and then the people that run the system. Now, the transformational leader gives the people that is working with the opportunity to do the job. It develops them to be able to do the job better. Now that's the difference. But that doesn't mean if there is a need to be charismatic, he will go looking for it. No, he already has it. He already inside him. He's already charismatic. He's already intelligent, intellectual person. He has it, so he will release it whenever he needs it. But he knows that the being charismatic or the charisma cannot get the job done forever. He can get the job done initially, but eventually he doesn't get the job done. So you have to transit into using systems, and then you all know that the systems are always driven by individuals. But if the individuals are not powerful, they are not strong, then you don't have a strong organization and you don't have a strong transformational process. So that's basically the difference, Christian. So because you don't, as a leader who wants to be in the transformational space, doesn't mean you go look for the charismatic qualities. You already have it. It's a progression. It's not something that you drop after you move into the next level. Good. Now, can you help me with the first question? I kind of forgot that.
The first question was more about organizational culture. Or take, for example, if you could see a very performing leader and is brought to a different organization, you begin to see that his leadership style or does not really fit well. Because there's an example I have, like I think an European CEO was sent to Asia to head the headquarters there. It turned out that to start with, his own culture is totally different from the Asians, and his double with his style of leadership is really not what they are aligned to. So as a leader, how do you try to be more effective in this type of new territories?
Okay, you know what? The first thing you need to do as a leader who's going into a place or you're going to an organization, what we always advise people to do, depending on how long you're going to be there, you don't start implementing changes immediately you get there. You don't come in there like a catalyst, like a change maker, and then you decide to organize everything, except the organization is on the red side. And then what they brought you there to do is to sanitize the whole place. If it's to sanitize the whole place, then changes start immediately. And then you begin to sack, retrench, downsize, whatever needs to be. But even before you start retrenching and downsizing, you need to do your homework. You need to have asked questions. You need to have looked at some papers, some appraisals, everything in there. That's why, but what we do is that when you're taking up a new role, and it's not an emergency position, it's just for you to come in there and probably to build up on the result that they already have. What we advise you to do is to take your time to understand the terrain, understand the people, understand the culture, understand how they think, understand how they do things. Because if you don't understand that, you will be making a big mistake. And they've always told us that culture will always eat strategy as breakfast. So you need to understand the people, not just the culture, even the people you're working with. You must understand them. And then that's why we always advise leaders to have developed themselves to the point that when you meet somebody for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, without even going through any books, you can always tell who this person is, the kind of personality this person is. I mean, not 100%, but you have what you need to be able to relate with the
Did you get it, Christian? You okay?
Yeah, I got it.
It's nice to see you. You're always on the platform. Thank you for joining us once again.
Yeah,
before I call on John Aja, I won't forget you. I'll read a question, but before then, don't forget this book, the Leadership Quadrants. Everything is here in this book. So if you like to purchase one, you can leave your